Last night, I stayed up late working on something related to business and finances. Normally, whenever I have to stay up late, my entire body enters a kind of battle mode. I always buy food at night and indulge in a satisfying late night feast. But during this particular night, while I was working, a clear stream of awareness suddenly appeared in my mind. It spoke distinctly and said, "There is absolutely nothing in this world worth punishing my body over with binge eating." This voice didn't come from my thinking mind. It obviously didn't belong to my body either. It felt like it had fallen from the sky, sudden, sharp, and unmistakable. And it repeated itself clearly and persistently, like a child pleading with a parent over and over again until the parent gives in and brings food. Guided by that voice, I consciously chose not to order any takeout at night. Then I went to sleep and forgot about it. But the next morning, as I began my day, the same stream of awareness drifted back into my mind and repeated the same words again. "There's absolutely nothing in this world worth punishing my body over with binge eating." It was as if its source was trying to tell me, "Hey, I'm trying to deliver something important to you. Did you receive the message?" So I paused, tuned in, and began to pay attention to this information. To my surprise, I realized that this message marked a deeply personal and historic moment, the return of my sovereign consciousness, or in other words, my higher self, true self, source, universe, God, Buddha, soul, however name it, had, in that moment, reclaimed its authority over my body. The little me still existed, but from that point on, it has lost its position of control. My higher self made it unmistakably clear. Caring for my body must now take the highest priority. Without a healthy body, the experience of life cannot continue at a high quality, and without rich experience, the soul cannot continue to evolve with depth. This voice delivered a completely opposite message from the one I used to hear whenever I was stressed. That voice from the little me, which had always encouraged me to eat impulsively to numb the pain. This contrast was strange, but unmistakable, and I felt absolutely certain that message I received the night before and the morning were from my higher self, not the little me. The little me, whenever it encountered pressure or fear, would always push me toward emotional binge eating as a way to avoid discomfort. Why does little me do this? That's something I'll explore more deeply later. What matters for now is this: my higher self has now taken back control of my physical body. It has clearly and firmly stated that my body deserves to be healthy, beautiful, and full of energy. The journey from being ruled by the emotional eating habits of little me to being guided by the higher self's commitment to health and alignment has taken me nearly 10 years, from age 30 to 39. It was a long, lonely, and difficult road, but I made it. Through overcoming emotional binge eating, I've come to fully understand the fundamental difference between the nature of little me and the wisdom of higher self. The little me speaks to the body with signals of fear, anxiety, scarcity, and contraction. The voice of the higher self, however, speaks with a presence of expansion, filled with forgiveness, acceptance, unconditional love, and deep courage. So what exactly is little me? Is it even me? The little me is an internal psychological pattern that begins to take root the moment we're born. From the very moment our physical body separates from our mother, the little me is born too, formed out of a deep fear of separation. The instant we realize that we're no longer one with our mother's body, the concept of I, mine, you, and yours comes into existence, and with it, the illusion of duality. This duality then continues to grow and strengthen. The little me starts to label everything: what belongs to me, what belongs to you, what is mine, what is his, what is hers. And as we begin to experience others taking our toys or having toys we don't have but desperately want, the little me grows even stronger. It starts to believe that if someone else is good, then we must be less. The little me becomes convinced that resources are limited, that love is limited, and that we must constantly prove our worth in order to earn what we desire. And so it begins to take charge. It pushes us to strive, to achieve, to chase more and more and more. The little me believes that nothing is ever enough, that something is always missing, that we are never quite safe. It trusts nothing beyond itself and tells us we must keep doing, performing, achieving. Yet, no matter what we do, it can never be satisfied because it is, at its core, a bottomless hole. The little me is like a black hole inside the body, endlessly consuming our mental and spiritual energy. It is invisible and intangible, made up of imaginary concepts constructed by mind. Ideas such as me and you, high and low, rich and poor, beautiful and ugly, good and bad, light and dark. At its core, the little me is built entirely on duality, and the emotional energy it generates always comes from that duality, such as fear, anxiety, scarcity, separation, and resistance. You might say, but isn't the little me trying to help? Maybe it's scared and feels unsafe, but isn't it trying to keep us alive? That sounds reasonable. It's a survival instinct maybe, like the father in Moana who keeps his daughter away from the ocean out of fear, to protect her from harm. That's what the little me tells us to. But through my experience with emotional binge eating, I've come to see the little me's real agenda. It's not actually trying to protect your body. It doesn't truly care whether your physical self lives or dies. It only has one goal: to preserve the existence of the little me itself. How do I know? Just look at the people. Maybe you've seen them online like I have, who weighed 800 pounds or more due to years of compulsive eating. Many of them literally eat themselves to death. From the moment they wake up to the moment they sleep, their day revolves around junk food, eating it, thinking about it, planning the next binge. Emotional eating is no different from addiction to smoking, drinking, or drugs. These behaviors destroy the body, so clearly the little me isn't actually trying to help you survive. It doesn't care if you die, as long as it gets to live. So no, the health of your body has nothing to do with the little me. In fact, the little me will happily devour your health, just to keep feeding and growing itself until it takes over your body completely. The little me is like a parasitic fungus, like the cordyceps that taken over an insect's body, slowly infiltrating and replacing it until the host exists only to serve the parasite. The power of little me is immense, so immense that many people live their entire lives without ever realizing they've been ruled by it. You might ask, if the little me is alive, doesn't that mean I'm alive? I can tell you with absolute clarity, through my own experience, I've come to understand that little me is not who I truly am or who you truly are. In fact, it's only when little me fully dies that the true self finally awakens. And when your true self awakens, you realize you never needed the little me to lead your life, at least not to dictate your actions anymore. Once your true self begins to fully live, you will start to experience true health, real abundance, and deep joy. You could even say the entire purpose of this lifetime is to awaken from the illusion created by the little me, to see your real self and to begin living as that real self. In that sense, the little me becomes your best teacher, because it is by confronting and transcending it that you find who you truly are. That might sound paradoxical, but it isn't. Just as light can only be seen in the dark, the presence of little me helps reveal the radiance of the true self. And for that, the little me is worth thanking. Thank you, little me, for giving us the contrast we needed in order to wake up. The higher self, also known as true self, or God or soul, source, universe, is the exact opposite of little me. The awareness it brings is filled with trust, gentleness, compassion, and unconditional love. It experiences life through the body, and through awareness, it turns the experience into wisdom, allowing the soul to evolve. Of course, the higher self wants your body radiant with health, your life overflowing with abundance, and your relationship roots in love, because it is you. When you begin to dissolve the illusion of separation created by little me, you return to wholeness, to source, to your true self. In that wholeness, the fear of separation vanishes. You feel a deep, unshakable safety, as if you are finally held completely and internally. In that state, you no longer need achievements, wealth, or validation to feel grounded. You are already resting in the fullness of love. Or more precise, when you return to your true self, you are love itself. When your true self awakens, emotional binge eating no longer has a place in your life. Once your true self has awakened, emotional binge eating no longer feels possible, because your true self fully accepts all your emotions, including the darkest and most difficult ones. It speaks to you gently and says, it's okay to feel this way. Everything is exactly as it should be. Everything is already whole. It tells you with unwavering clarity that your strongest negative emotions are not who you are. They are simply experiences your true being came to earth to feel. And when you are not these emotions, then who are you, really? If you keep asking that question over and over again, eventually the answer will appear. You are the source. And the essence of Source is joy, expansion, abundance, and love. When you reunite with Source, emotional binge eating becomes irrelevant because there's no longer anything lacking within you. You are held in the infinite love and abundance of the universe. And not only do you feel that abundance, you become the vessel of that abundance. You become a clear and open channel for the abundance of the Source to flow through, not only nourishing yourself, but also those around you. For many people, this awakening of the true self may take a long time. For some, it may never happen in this lifetime. Many live entirely under the rule of the little me, in a life that appears to be filled with choices, yet is truly devoid of choice. And yet, more and more people are beginning to awaken. For me, it took nearly a decade, from the age of 30 to almost 40, before I slowly began to wake up. And the moment I heard that voice from my higher self say, there's absolutely nothing in this world worth punishing my body over with binge eating, I knew this was the moment of awakening. Each of our souls has a different level of maturity. Each awakens at its own time in its own way. The lessons our souls came to learn are uniquely tailored. Some are here to learn through the journey of weight and body image, some through the search for love, some through career and achievement, and others through money and wealth. But no matter the path, eventually in this lifetime or the next, we all return to awakening. That is why for me, emotional eating became the doorway through which I saw the difference between the little me and the higher self. For you, it may be something entirely different. It doesn't matter what it is. The greatest spiritual practice is simply to stay present with details and challenges of our daily life, big or small, and to recognize that each one is a portal to awakening if you choose to meet it with awareness. Because only through challenge can we break through, just as it is only in the dark that we begin to see the light. When you return to your abundant inner essence, you reunite with your higher self, your energy naturally begins to rise to a higher frequency. And when your inner vibration shifts, your outer reality automatically starts to realign with it, as within, so without. At that point, abundance in the physical world becomes only a matter of time. It will come inevitably. But when it does, you will likely find that external wealth no longer feels like such a big deal, because by then, you will have discovered that the true abundance is found in your connection with Source, in learning to receive its guidance and co-create your life journey with the universe step by step. And that ultimately is what it means to walk the path of your true self.